Welcome back everyone to a brand new update on the best champions to one-trick. We'll be covering 3 champions for each role based on the following criteria. In order to successfully one-trick a champion, they need to be accessible, so each champ selected for the video has below a 15% cumulative pick and ban rate. Although champs like Hecarim and Trundle are pretty broken right now, they're not the best to one-trick due to their popularity. Our second piece of criteria is that the champions need to be strong in meta. Highly accessible and strong in meta are the 2 key aspects we prioritized when cultivating the list. But before we get into it, be sure to check out Skill Capped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. If you've always wanted to become a Camille connoisseur, now is one of the best times to do so. Up until the past few months, Camille had been a pick or ban top lane champion, but that's no longer the case anymore. Ban rate sits around 5% and her pick rate at about 6%, so she's within the 15% limit. Camille's strength remains top tier, but it takes a little more skill to pull her off now, which makes her great to one-trick. Once you learn all your matchups, running the Ignite with Teleport opens up so many early game opportunities. Knowing your limits and when you can strike for the all-in with Ignite will lead to you taking over games. Cam is one of the best top laners when it comes down to rolling with an advantage, as the long-range gap close from E and lockdown from ultimate gives you extreme zone control. A Shen or Teemo ban is good to prioritize as they shut down your Q damage really hard. Core build is a Trinity or Divine Sunderer rush into Ravenous Hydra 2nd and Death's Dance 3rd. Run Grasp as the keystone with Shield Bash, Bone Plating, and Unflinching. Free Boots and Biscuits are great for secondaries. Although Shen isn't as flashy as someone like Camille, his power in the meta and accessibility makes him the best top laner to one-trick. Ban rate is only 1%, while his play rate is around 5%. Mechanically, Shen isn't very demanding, but knowing how to use his ultimate optimally takes a bit of time. Most average Shen players only use his ultimate as a defensive tool to save allies, but is often best used offensively for engages. Being able to analyze the situation and know when to go on offense or defense is something that makes one-tricking Shen very worthwhile. Shen is also just ridiculously strong in lane against any auto-reliant champions, so if you're looking for a good answer to Trundle, Irelia, Jax, or Camille, he's a no-brainer pickup. Mord is one of Shen's more difficult matchups, so it's a good ban to consider. Core build is a Frostfire Rush into Demonic Embrace 2nd and Thornmail 3rd. If you want a little more dueling and side lane power, then swapping Demonic for Titanic is great as well. Best rune page is Grasp with Shield Bash, Second Wind, and Revitalize. Roll with Cheap Shot and Ultimate Hunter for secondaries. One of the strongest carry top laners who's definitely flying under the radar right now is Riven. Play rate hovers around 6%, while Riven's ban rate is only 3%. Riven is statistically one of the most one-trick top laners, and for good reason. There are many unique combos and ways to express your skill on the pick that make Riven very rewarding once you nail them down. Similar to Camille, with Riven's crazy mobility, you have the potential to completely run away with the game on your own. Punishing the enemy's positional errors is very easy, and you can effortlessly pull off 1v2 outplays with the lead. Good bans for Riven include Urgot or Poppy, as they do a great job at disrupting Riven's mobility. Gore Drinker Rush into Black Cleaver 2nd and Death's Dance 3rd is the common core for Riven. Keystone is Conqueror with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand. Secondaries include Second Wind and Unflinching. Ekko has been a consistently strong jungler for most of Season 12. With Diana and Hecarim being the priority jungle bans, players are only banning Ekko in 4% of games. With a play rate of 7%, he fits our criteria nicely. Ekko W usage is where you can really express your skill on the champion. Since the stun takes 1.5 seconds to detonate, predicting where the enemy intends to move can be difficult to do. In many situations, using the spell as a zone tool can actually be more consistent, so there's lots to learn on the pick. At 2 items, you can pop off super hard with a Rocket Belt into Lichbane Core. Rabadon's is the best 3rd item for most games, as Zanya's is a bit of a noob trap. First Strike or Dark Harvest are viable keystone options. First Strike is super underrated on Ekko because he's a champion who thrives off item spikes, and First Strike lets him get there faster. Arguably the most undervalued jungler in the entire game right now is Fiddlesticks. Ban rate is only 2.5% with a play rate of only 3.3%. Playing around ultimate cooldown and setting up for flank plays is what allows you to thrive on Fiddle. Mechanically, the champion isn't too difficult at all, but knowing where to be and when is what differentiates average and mastered Fiddle players. Setting up for objectives well before they spawn controlling vision, and finding that multi-man ultimate when the enemy team face checks is so influential. Best Fiddle build is a Rocket Belt Rush followed by Zhonya's second and Shadow Flame third. Believe it or not, First Strike is actually Fiddle's best performing keystone. Every time ultimate is available, you can rack up loads of gold from the rune, so definitely try it out if you haven't already. An amazing jungler to one trick to hard counter the current jungle meta is Trundle. Due to Trundle's less mechanical kit, you can pick him up right away and start seeing success. Ban rate is 2.5%, while play rate is around 3%. Trundle is one of the few junglers who has a positive win rate into all of the most played junglers, being Hecarim, Diana, Lee Sin, Viego, and Kayn. Especially into those AD junglers, you can smack them around due to your Q stealing AD. Best Trundle build is a Divine Sunderer into Titanic Hydra second and Sterix third. Into tankier compositions, running lethal tempo helps to win out on those extended fights, while if you're against a heavier squishy comp, running PTA works great for quicker burst. One of the best mid lane assassins for solo queue who isn't getting much attention right now is Fizz. This makes him amazing to one trick with a ban rate of only 4% and a play rate of the same value. It was the Lichbane alterations a couple patches back where Riot added haste to the item, which gave Fizz that extra nudge up the tier list. With ultimate available, the pick plays are incredible, so being able to stack as much haste as possible is vital. Landing ultimate on a consistent basis is what really takes your Fizz to another level and makes him rewarding to spend the time on. Kassadin is a good ban to stick with when one-tricking Fizz, as his magic shield and mobility make it hard to succeed against. Core build is a Luden's Rush, followed by Zhonya second and Lichbane third. Run Electrocute as Keystone with Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collector, and Ravenous Hunter. Biscuits and Time Warp Tonic are optimal secondaries. Kiana has been by far the most reliable AD assassin to one trick for all of Season 12. Kiana's ban rate does creep up once you reach Masters and above, but in Diamond and below, where the majority of the player base lies, it's only at 6%. Play rate hovers around 4%, so she's going to be open for you in the majority of games. Finding those openings and knowing your lethal damage turns Kiana into the most deadly assassin, so one-tricking her is well worth the time. With a Prowler's Claw Rush, your pick power is amazing and becomes even more insane when you complete Ghostblade. Vex is one matchup giving Kiana players issues right now, so consider banning her out. Electrocute is the standard keystone for Kiana with Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collector, and Ravenous Hunter. Presence of Mind and Last Stand work best for secondaries. We've covered 2 assassin mids, so how about one of the best mages to one trick? Cassiopeia fits our criteria really well, as her ban rate is only 2% and play rate is of the same value. Throughout Season 12, Cass has slowly crept up the tier list as she's seen many positive item changes go her way. Archangels and Rylai's both received massive cost reductions, which bodes so well for Cassio getting her 3-item spike on a consistent basis. Cass heavily relies on landing her skill shot Q for max DPS, so it takes a little more time to get used to her, but it's very rewarding in the end. 1v9 potential is greater than most champions when Cass is played at a high level, as she not only has amazing single target burst, but her AoE from ultimate can solo win fights. Zed is a good ban for Cass, as his mobility and burst can be difficult to micro around. Core build is a Liandry's Rush into Archangel second and Rylai's third. You can swap Liandry's for Everfrost in games where you feel some extra self-peel is needed. Grab Conqueror as the keystone with Presence of Mind, Tenacity, and Last Stand. Conditioning and Overgrowth are the best secondaries. Many of the top tier ADCs right now, like Jinx, Samira, and Zeri, are banned and picked way too much, so it made it a little more difficult to choose our top 3 for the role. Ashe is first up, as she's just come off some massive buffs and is now a top 5 solo queue ADC in our books. Ban rate is abysmally low at only 0.3%, while her play rate is 4.5%, so you've got a 95% chance at locking the champ each game. Ashe doesn't have any flashy mechanics, but her ultimate is one of the best solo queue tools if used correctly. If you can play enough Ashe to where your hit rate on ult is over 70%, that alone can win you games on the champ. There are a few different builds you can run, first being the standard shield bow into Wit's End. A more offensive build with Blade into Gale Force can also work depending on preference. Runes are lethal tempo with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace. Biscuits and Approach Velocity work best for secondaries. With many ADCs nerfed in recent patches like Jinx, Zeri, and Aphelios, it's made room for someone like Twitch to start popping off. This is the best time to one-trick Twitch, as he loves the Enchanter meta going on with support. Ban rate is 5%, while his play rate is about 8%. A little bit on the higher side, but still marginally lower when compared to Zeri's 54% ban rate. With Twitch's stealth mechanic, you can almost play like an assassin and really capitalize on enemies' squishies being alone. Knowing when to pop out of stealth and spray down with ultimate is what makes a great Twitch player, and the only way to learn that is by spamming games. Kraken or Gale Force Rush are viable mythic items depending on the game. Since Twitch lacks a gap closer, running Gale Force into heavy dive comps is great value. Run lethal tempo with Presence of Mind, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace for primary runes. Taste of Blood and Ultimate Hunter are optimal secondaries. One of the more mechanically intensive marksmen who's coming off some solid buffs in 12.5b is Lucian. Lucian's looking like an amazing pickup after those buffs, and he's definitely a bit underrated so far. Ban rate is extremely low at only 1.5% with a play rate of 8%. With protector supports like Yuumi and Nami in meta, they really allow Lucian to thrive and play extra aggressively like he wants to. Lucian's dash is a bit of a double-edged sword though, as I'm sure we've all had that Lucian that recklessly dives in and gets blown up because of it. Knowing your limits as to when you can go aggro and when it's best to sit back is what takes your Lucian to another level, so one-tricking him is great to accelerate this. Standard build is a Gale Force Rush into Essence Reaver 2nd and Infinity Edge 3rd. Pick up PTA as the keystone with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Cut Down. Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm are the best secondaries. The best enchanter support to one trick is Nami. Play rate is 10%, but ban rate is super low at only 1%, so added together it stays below the 15% limit. Nami is one of the few enchanters with high skill expression, as landing a consistent bubble makes her a pick to be feared. You can definitely win games on Nami simply by buffing up carries with W and E, but hitting your Q on a regular basis opens up so many more plays. Lucian coming back into meta is another great reason to consider one-tricking Nami, as that duo is free wins if executed properly. A Mandate Rush into Chemtech Putrefier 2nd and Staff of Flowing Water 3rd is the core build. Run Electrocute in games where you're confident in playing aggro early on, otherwise Airy is a viable option too. A support who's less reliant on her ADC to succeed and can top the damage charts every single game is Zyra. One-tricking Zyra is no problem at all, as her ban rate is 1% and play rate is only 3%. Learning your damage spikes and playing around that will allow you to hard carry games on Zyra. An E into R combo at level 6 can annihilate any squishy, so if you can be consistent in landing your E, many good things will come from it. Plant damage and zone control from Ultimate make Zyra one of the best teamfighting supports, so you're impactful all throughout the game. Build path is Liandry's Rush into Zhonya's 2nd and Rylai's 3rd. Primary runes are Comet with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch. Pick up Taste of Blood and Relentless Hunter for secondaries. Majority of the top engaged supports don't fit the criteria of being one-trickable. However, a super underrated champ that does is Rell. Rell is finding a lot of success in the current solo queue meta, while only banned in 0.3% of games and played in 1.5%. Rell is one of the best counters to other melee supports like Nautilus, Thresh, Pyke, and Leona. W into E combo followed by Ultimate provides incredible lockdown, and if used in the correct moments can solo win games. You have many options when playing Rell, as you can choose to sit back and peel with ult, or go aggressive and dive the back line, so knowing which to do in each situation takes some trial and error. Locket Rush into Zeke's 2nd and Night's Vow 3rd is the standard core build. Run Glacial as the keystone with Hex Flash, Minion Dematerializer, and Cosmic Insight. Shield Bash and Unflinching are the best secondaries. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about Skill Capped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week, with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent Challenger players into ELO Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month if you are serious about improving. So that is going to be all for this one. You're now completely up to date with the 3 best champions to one trick for every single role. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you back soon.